Hello, Cancer, and welcome to Indigo Rising Tarot. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you're having a great day. This will be your weekly reading for the week of September 7th through the 13th. And during that time, we will have a full moon that comes in on the 8th. And you might feel that energy the day before, during, and after. I know I do. But that's a time of heightened emotions. Some people feel maybe a little bit overwhelmed or anxious or snappy, irritable. You might have changes in your sleeping patterns. I do. Or you could just feel just very up and positive. I find the full moon to be a very positive and energetic change for myself. So keep that in mind. We also then move into the waning gibbous, and that's where that full moon energy kind of calms down, and it's a good time for self-reflection, rebirth, a time to make positive changes and get rid of bad habits and negative thinking, and just kind of buckle down and work on things that you are working on. So keep those moon energies in mind as we move through the week. This will be an intuitive general reading, Cancer. So, of course, please take what resonates and leave what doesn't on the table for someone else. And your overall message for this reading is that your dreams need a practical plan. All right, so let's see what you guys have going on for the week, Cancer. As I'm shuffling, I would like to say that since my readings are free to you, all that I ask in return is that you hit the subscribe button. It really helps my channel, and it is super easy for you to do. So I will give you a moment to do that right now while I'm shuffling. Thank you so much. And if you've been a subscriber, thank you for coming back and helping me build a community here. I really appreciate you, and thank you again. So my weekly reminder for the week as I'm shuffling here, Cancer, is that if you don't meditate, that you take time to meditate this week. Just give it a shot if it's not something that you normally do, but just still your mind and your body and go within in whichever way that you find very comfortable. Just just get quiet and spend some time alone with your thoughts. So get in there, explore, see what's going on in there. If it's something you do, you understand how rejuvenating and just how helpful it can be in your life. If it's not something that you normally do, maybe this is a good week to give that a try. So that is just my fun, friendly weekly reminder for the week. All right, Cancer, without further ado, let's get into this reading, September 7th through the 13th. Your dreams need a practical plan. All right, that's what the magician says too. So your present energy is the magician saying, what do you want to do? Where do you want to go, Cancer? What would you like to manifest, and which tool would you like to do it with? So awesome. I love that card comes out with that. So if you're dreaming about something, you need to think about what tools need to get you there, right? And that's the magician. That's what the magician asks you. Whatever goals and aspirations you may have for either your imminent future, whatever your goals, maybe a month, for a weeks from now, a month from now, years from now, you need to figure out which tools need to put those things into action, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Your current situation is the hanged man. So you might have recently had something come in that has changed your perspective on something. And maybe it's just that you're feeling like your dreams are possible. That you have realized that all I need to do is put together a practical plan. And I think that is true. Anything you would like to desire, or anything that you do desire, it just needs a plan. You just put a plan in place. You can sit and dream about it. When it comes to manifesting, of course, you can do all those meditative manifesting things, and those are important to do, but you also have to pick up the tools and put your hands in and get to work. So you've had some sort of change of perspective, maybe that you're thinking, well, maybe I can actually achieve this thing, which is awesome. That's very positive. At the root of your situation is the Queen of Cups. So you come into this with like an emotional understanding of what's involved. She's kind of our maternal understanding of the suit. So she is very, she's very foot in one, in the emotional realm and kind of in the clouds. Look at her cloudy costume there, kind of a dreamer, but also with that foot on dry land also. So, this is having a practical plan. Um, you know, Perfect. It goes perfectly with that other card. In your recent past here is the card of rest and meditation with the Four of Swords. So this new perspective could have come out from some quiet time that you've recently had. Maybe you've been taking that time to rest and meditate and really think about things and what is it that you really want. Sometimes we just forget. We kind of go through the motions of life and we forget to ask ourselves that, why am I doing all of these things that I do every day? Sometimes you do have to stop and just kind of recalibrate things. The waning gibbous is really good for that because it's a good time for self-reflection and go ahead and be reborn in something. I know that just changing a daily habit, what do they say, it takes 20 something days to change a habit. um so think about those things. What kind of adjustments, how do you want to make your life better in the near future, years to come, near and far future? What are those little adjustments that you do need to make? But it looks like you have had some sort of perspective change, and it could have come out of that rest and meditation. What's on your mind this week is justice. So maybe just some hard truths that are coming at you. And if this seems to be very general. I mean, so far we've only got, let's see, we've got three major arcana. So it's kind of a big week for you. Anytime I start to see more than three or four major arcana, I think that, and the other elements that are not present yet, they could be, but is that you've had some sort of truth on your mind. It's come and it's just causing you to have this new perspective and kind of a new outlook. And here we are kind of at the changing of the seasons. So it's a good time to start new things, to work on things, and to start to achieve your dreams. That just put a plan together and get it going. I believe in you. You need to believe in yourself also. What is just ahead of you is the Hierophant. So you're maybe seeking out some sort of guidance. Maybe you've had some sort of spiritual awareness, some sort of like, awakening that has happened. Of course, I see awakenings are, it's not a one-time thing. It's something that happens and then it starts, you have waves and layers, and it's the realization and getting to truth. So you're getting there with this justice card. It's a card about truth. You've seen the light in some manner, but the Hierophant is about seeking guidance in kind of the spiritual realm. So this could be why you're at a tarot reading. It could be that you are going to start going to church again. It's that you are reading books and listening to lectures of things of a spiritual nature, and that might be the area in which you want to turn your life into a different direction. But of course, all you have to do is be practical about it. Set yourself goals. If you want to, let's say you want to learn about tarot cards, set a goal that you want to do X, Y, and Z every week so that you can learn about tarot cards. I did that for myself at one point when, I was like, it was actually during COVID. And it was the first time that I had time where I wasn't running my kids around or just running and working, life, everything. Everything kind of just came to a halt for me. And I saw that as an opportunity. I was like, I have this time in front of me. What am I going to do? I've always wanted to learn about tarot cards. And here I am doing a tarot channel. I can't even believe it myself. But I took the time to just focus. And so I set a plan in action, and here I am doing it. So okay, so let's keep going here. Advice position for you is the King of Swords. So use your logic. The king this is our king of intellect and logic and definitely practicality. So this is about, you seek guidance, but make a list. You want to do, I would call this like, what is the word they say for it when, even my sons always kind of make fun of me with tarot and things, somewhat. I get the kind of side eye from them, like, oh, what is all this woo woo? That's the word. It's the logical, it's the list making with kind of the woo woo. Like you're seeing signs from the spiritual realm, but you also do need to maintain some of that logic so that you're just not so far out in the clouds that no one can relate to you. So your advice is to also remain logical. Which that just makes me laugh because I do this in my own life. I mean, I tend to be more on the woo woo end, and I have to kind of draw myself back into the logical. So I completely get this. Where my husband is the opposite. He's very, very logical and has to kind of allow himself to understand the woo woo that I'm coming from. So we're a funny mix in that way. But so, and that's what I see these two cards as, is like seeking that sort of guidance seeking out maybe guidance, from out in the universe somewhere, but also maintaining that logical thing. And that's where your practical plans come from also, right? So, okay, let's keep going. What's beyond your control this week is the Page of Pentacles. So this would be some sort of new path in the way of the material. Um, so this could be financial. This could be just a new thing that you're doing in your house. This could be just an upgrade that maybe you're painting a room or you're changing an area. You're taking a corner of your house and you're redecorating it. Any kind of just something new on the path of the material, and it's beyond your control this week. And it could be something that this new perspective is bringing on, right? You've had this new perspective out of this rest and meditation, and you're going to make some sort of change. But again, with some sort of change coming in for you it's beyond your control. Secret desire, what you're trying to avoid, is the Three of Wands. So is it your secret desire to look towards the future and new ventures, and that may involve new things and travel and some kind of excitement, or are you trying to avoid that? That'll be your big question of the week. Which I feel like with the other cards that are in line is that you are kind of thinking of a new venture that maybe when the Magician here asks which element you're going to use, you are going to choose passion, the passion of the wand. And this could involve, just something new that it's just going to light a fire for you. You're going to be very, very excited about it. In your outcome position is the Seven of Pentacles. So what's coming in for you it's almost like the seeds that you've already sown, and you're kind of maybe arriving at the harvest for this. This is not new. I just get the feeling that this has been going on for some time. And again, when it comes to spiritual awakenings, it's not a one-time thing. It's something that happens and then there's the next wave. And you don't really know what the catalyst might be that comes in for you. It's different I've heard so many different stories. I love stories like that. They're fascinating. In fact, if you want to share in the comments, let me know, because this is something that I love to hear, is what spurred an awakening for different people and different types of awakenings. It could be a dream. It could be something that happened to you. You might have witnessed something, or I just love hearing those stories. Like, what was the catalyst that just turned your perspective, So, but yeah, I feel like these are seeds that you've planted. This is not new to you, this awakening kind of thing. This is just the next layer of it. Let's see what's hidden from you at the bottom of the deck is the two. Excuse me, let me grab a drink here. The Two of Cups, which tells me, and I don't see a lot of other people in this reading, this is about you. This isn't about you and another person. This isn't about you and your relationship. This isn't about you and a friend. This is about you. It's just very solely focused. And I want you to look at how many of these cards are just looking directly at you. So we've got the Magician, we've got the Justice card, the Hierophant, the King of Swords, and the Hangman. It's about you, and it's about you looking at yourself, right? What is that reflection in the mirror, and what changes are you going to make? What are your dreams? And can you be practical and logical enough to put things into fruition and make things happen? So I think you can. Let's get a final message here from the Soul Oracle deck. Final word from the Soul Oracle deck for Cancer, September 7th through the 13th. Alrighty. Forgive and forget. And that could be just about yourself. Just forgive the past, move on the future just set out on a new foot with this new perspective. Don't be worried about what you've done in the past, the things that things that you're trying to change and new dreams that you're having. Just let it go. Forgive yourself and let go, and let's move on to the future. And this other card for yourself, self-care. It's a self-care wisdom card. I keep trying to remember to say that. Is the Happiness card. This is what you need to do in the way of self-care this week. Your thinking will either make your happiness or take your happiness. You choose. So your thinking, it's just your frame of mind. And that's also, this forgive and forget. We can't be focused on the past, especially if you've got this new perspective, this new light coming in. And if you need to make yourself reminders of like, okay, this is the new thing, I'm going to change it about myself. I'm going to do it during this waning gibbous time, during this time of, seasons changing and that sort of thing. And if you need to remind yourself with notes on your mirror and notes, post-it notes in your kitchen, in your bedroom, wherever, in your car, wherever things get in front of you, that you are making these changes and you're heading towards a dream, but you need to make these practical changes. These are very logical things that need to happen. If you need to make notes of those things and put them in front of you, again, it takes what, 20 something days to change a habit. You can do that and you can move towards the practical plan that you need to fulfill your dreams. So, Cancer, I really appreciate your time here with me today. I do hope there was something in this reading that has spoken to you and that you can take away and use. I love this reading. I think it's very positive. I love these changes that you're about to make, and I'm very excited to hear about where you are going to end up once you put these practical things into work to work towards achieving your dreams. So again, if you're comfortable sharing, drop me a message down below. Let me know what the catalyst might have been for this next awakening for you. I'd be very curious to hear that. Also, I do post weekly readings, so come back next week. We'll see if this energy continues or if there's something completely new here for you. Also, once again, if you like my reading style, if you hit that like and subscribe button, I would really appreciate it. It helps my channel, helps push me out in the algorithm, which I think I'm getting ready now to take on maybe more viewers, and I feel comfortable now. It's very interesting reading for the collective versus reading one-on-one for people. Very different, and I love it. I really do. I'm learning also as I do this. So anyway, Cancer, thank you so much. Good luck with all this, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.